Why living in Canada has become impossible 1 day ago. This is a video I've been wanting to make, but maybe this guy already crushed it, so we'll just watch this.
Just 2 years ago, a simple 2-bedroom...
Already wrong. Canada can't be worse than I think. I hope the thesis of this video, I'm not saying Justin Trudeau has been an effective or even good leader in any way. I'm not. I can't say that. But I hope this video doesn't blame it all on Justin Trudeau as if this is a problem you could find equally in Australia, in the UK, in America. And I mean, these are problems that are global.
I just found out my rent's gonna be increased from $2,100 a month to $2,400 a month for a 1-bedroom condo in Toronto.
In most Canadian cities, in major cities like Toronto and Vancouver, the minimum income that's required to qualify for a mortgage is double or triple the median household income. This makes buying even unattainable
Impossible.
for the top 10% of earners. There is a housing crisis, a cost of living crisis.
To be clear, once it reaches Canada levels, that's beyond like a housing crisis. That is so far deep in the bubble. That's absurd. That is, if you're in the top 10% of earners and you still can't afford to even get on the housing ladder, it's crazy.
Many of you have worried that Canada has lost its compassionate and constructive voice in the world. Well, we're back.
Oh no. Oh no. Now they're all walking around with Trudeau flags. This is the kind of thing that can only work when times are good. People just they can't care about this joy stuff.
To understand how his approval ratings have turned around so dramatically, why Canada is in a housing crisis, a cost of living crisis, and most surprisingly is now struggling with...
But I also wouldn't just start it with him. I'm just going to give some backstory here. I've done some reading and research on Canada from Canadian economists I've read. And, Canada did way better than a lot of other countries through the Great Recession, like 08, 09, 10, 11. But it was because they, more than any other country, really dug deep to prop up the housing bubble. They printed a bunch of money. Australia did really well too. Australia and Canada were two countries that had no negative effects, but vastly less negative effects during the Great Recession. They talked about it like they were the, economic geniuses. Like they had truly figured out the problem, but they just delayed it. They just punted it. Do you know what I'm saying? And this is pre-Trudeau. They just punted the problem, and now they're dealing with it later on. It's just a little short-sighted to keep the bubble inflated. And so you come in this era where Trudeau's getting elected, and everyone's like, they're feeling good. They're feeling like Canada's cut above. And it's like, no, you've pushed the problem off on the next generation so that your oldest people can stay ever wealthier.
Canada is in...
Kevin Rudd did nothing wrong. It's so funny. I'm reading his book right now. I'm reading Kevin Rudd's book on Xi Jinping, and I think he's a thoughtful writer. I don't know that he was a great prime minister. It's funny. When you read this book, he is incredibly passionate about Xi Jinping. Bro loves Xi Jinping, knows a lot about it. He doesn't love him, but he's got a deep insight. I mean, he's done working meetings with him. He knows. It's a good book. I mean, I'm liking it so far. I'm learning things. And he's a prime minister, so he's got like world leader experience, but it's funny how passionate he is about the subject.
They used immigration as a tool to build their country. They attracted new people with a comprehensive marketing campaign.
Save Canada.
Build your nest in Western Canada was the message, calling it the new El Dorado. Boatloads of prospective migrants arrived in...
This should be clear. El Dorado is a fictional city of gold. If you were to go into Western Canada, you would find a fictional city of cold. You would find no joy there.
Canada vested a lot of power in the federal executive branch of government, which makes it possible to respond quickly to unwanted flows of migrants. They kept identifying weak spots and making improvements. And by the early 2000s, the system was hailed around the world as one of the best. Even Donald Trump had good things to say about it.
Nations around the world, like Canada, have a merit-based immigration system.
But what was most impressive were Canada's exceptionally high levels of public acceptance.
I was just going to say that. I was going to say there must have been some working to it, some trust of it, because the average person in Canada had the highest level of being pro-immigration and feeling immigration was a good thing. So it must have felt accepted by the average person, whatever system they had. But it's changed now, absolutely. It's completely plummeted.
There are difficulties in all major sectors, from construction to healthcare. Companies were just unable to find the people with the right skills.
It's simple to me. Canada needs more people.
This was the new Minister of Immigration.
Canadians understand the need to continue to grow our population if we're going to meet the needs of the labor force.
Fraser, like many before him, saw immigration as a tool to fix specific...
So this reminds me, you know, you could also raise wages. I'm pro-immigration in general, but like the type of business leaders that are looking for this, like the people in 21 and 22 that were like, nobody wants to work. Nobody wants to work at my fucking $7.50 an hour restaurant job. And those people are the ones that mostly want large, cheap, compliant labor pool. What's funny is they'll be like the type of people that'll demonize immigrants, but they'll hire them like crazy. In fact, I shouldn't say who this person is, but I know a person who is extremely anti-immigration, but does a business that often would exclusively hire poor, under-the-table immigrants. It's Ludwig. It's Ludwig. All those game shows.
In 1971, there were 7 people of working age for each senior. In 2012, this was down to 4. The projection is that there will only be 2 workers for every retired.
I do want to say that this is, I want to give it a counterpoint to what I just said. The people that are super duper anti-immigration are gonna find out that the other solution is everyone gets old. You know what I'm saying? There's 2 options. There's just we're at the end of a bad cycle, so it's not like it's a magical solution. There's 2 bad end games here. Should we just increase the retirement age? I think we should go one step farther. I think we should increase the retirement age to death, so you work till you die, and we should make a reverse retirement where young people don't have to work. So we flip it. So right as they get old and want to retire, we flip it and they have to keep working and everyone else gets a day off or gets to just chill, no work. I think that could be like a really sick method. Children will have to work. No, it's going to be like a middle ground retirement. Between 20 and 45. Give me some more time. Between 20 and 45, you can just chill. Children and old people will work like crazy.
When you talk about the housing crisis that we're facing, which we are facing, one of the limits on creating more housing is the challenges on having enough construction workers.
But Trudeau and his cabinet members saw immigration as the solution, not the problem. And in 2023, Canada's population...
It is not a solution to... No, it is a solution to keeping housing prices as high as possible. It is a solution to not popping the massive real estate bubble at the heart of your economy. That's for sure.
More extreme voices like the Century Initiative lobby to grow Canada's population to 100 million by the end of the century. The plan was endorsed by a former prime minister, and lobbyists included several advisors to Justin Trudeau and his cabinet members.
We have a population that is aging. We need people to arrive with their talents, with their hopes.
Why doesn't Trudeau pivot? I mean, Trudeau's a good-looking guy. He's got riz. It should be the Canada fucking suckathon. We're going to make so many babies. I think that could have worked.
27% of people believe that there was
Nobody wants to have sex with a Canadian. I forgot about that. I forgot about that. That's why they're having such a problem.
Per capita growth is down, along with individual living standards.
This apartment is 750 square feet, and I pay $4,300.
What the fuck? 43? What is that USD, right? Because no way. 4,300 CAD to USD. Okay, that's 3,100. I mean, that's not good, but that's a little bit more expensive than LA prices, but that's at 4,300 was just sticker shocking me in America. I was like, that's the most expensive thing I've ever heard in my life. Yeah, earnings are also lower in Canada. No, it's still terrible. Don't get me wrong. I'm just saying that I was hitting it with the American dollar, and I was like, that doesn't even sound like anyone could ever afford that. She must have parental help, right? There's just no way. Or debt, I guess.
Between how fast Canada's population is growing and how long they need to supply housing and service infrastructures like healthcare and schools, this affects all layers of society, but this is most acutely visible.
Does Canada have a big NIMBY problem, or you can't build certain things or build low-cost housing? Because I would assume so. I'm just assuming, the incentives in all these countries are the same, which is that everyone hates the cost of housing, but enough people are on the housing ladder and they have all of their money in it, they can't stomach a world where it goes down because it'll bankrupt them. Even a regular, there's rich landlords, obviously, but even a person that bought a house, they have this one house and all of their money is tied up in it. It costs $1 million plus. If it crashes 30, 40%, they're ruined for their retirement.
A story broke about 25 students that were living in one basement in
Jesus
Brampton,
Christ.
and it went viral. The mayor of the city responded that they've seen cases like these on a regular basis.
Like this landlord who's renting out 6 beds on the floor with dividers between them for $325 each.
That's crazy. $325 a month for a bed with a divider. I was looking at stuff like this when I first moved to San Francisco. San Francisco is very similar. I mean, it's not as bad as this, I guess, but for the time and the costs and what I was making, it was pretty bad. And if I hadn't found an incredibly lucky Craigslist ad for a guy looking for a gamer roommate, I would have been. I was looking at like hostels. I was looking at like, I couldn't find anything in the city that was like remotely. I got very lucky finding that Craigslist ad. That guy he clutched up.
Public opinion had now turned against Canadian immigration policies, and for the first time, it had become
Statistically, people that own a home are more likely to vote. Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. Yeah. The people that get on the property ladder and own a home are more likely to be politically involved. Not even just voting in like major elections. They're the ones that show up to council meetings. They're the ones that like take the time to like call their local politician or show up to, they're the ones that do all that shit. And so because of that, it's very difficult to pass anything that could hurt property values. And it's tough. I mean, listen, the big landlord's easy to blame. It's tough to blame, the guy or the family that saved for 20 years, bought a house with a massive down payment, is still paying the debt. And if it goes down there, like the problem has become so big that people that haven't done anything wrong are also going to get hurt when it pops, but you still have to pop it. You still have to pop it because otherwise the problem gets worse. Does it even matter if it goes down? Like if you sell? Well, here's the thing. Again, in an aging society, a lot of people have no retirement savings or no real retirement savings outside of their house. They've put money into their house by being a 30 or 40 year payment their entire lives. And that has continued to go up in value. And that is their savings. That is their retirement. So if right before they're about to get old or retire, that thing takes a 30, 40% haircut, they're fucked. It is a massive drop in their, quality of life and in their savings and everything. Well, time to get back to work, LMFAO. Listen, I know that's funny to say, and I know making fun of boomers is very easy and fun, and I generally do it as well. If you were in that situation, you might feel different. You worked your whole life. If you work for 30 years or whatever, and most of your paycheck goes to your mortgage, and then you find out that that's all gone, you'd be mad. And so that's not everybody, and definitely there's some people that have abused the system and should get fucked, but, incentives are a tricky thing. Their incentive is to try and keep prices high because it's the only way to keep their financial savings. Maybe the old should just become streamers. I'm kicking the ladder down behind me, dude. I want to be the only old person streamer, and I want to have nobody else.
In 2019, 19% of Canadians felt that Canada was extremely unequal. That is now up to 38%.
That's crazy in 5 years.
To the question whether the cost of living is now worse, the number rose from 66% in 2019.
Because it's funny, it's like even in 2019, it probably was very unequal, but people didn't feel that. So the fact that they're feeling it so acutely is a big problem.
I hope that you learned something or found this video entertaining. Yes.
I thought the video was good. I think, it basically had one key point, which is about surge in immigration in 21 and 22 and how that affected housing. And then it mentioned inflation, but it didn't draw any reason as to why, and didn't cover, I think, the 08 to 2015 pre-Trudeau inflation of the housing bubble. So there's a couple things that I think tell more of a story, but I did like the video. I like the video a lot, and I'm glad it was made, and it's good for people to see this.